Happy Hump Day, everyone. I am NaKeitha Ross, your host of the Fearless Female Podcast. Today I'm here with Miss LaToshia Norwood. How are you, LaToshia?
Fantastic.
Our topic today is Be Audacious. I came up with that topic because she just had an event in October about being audacious.
Yes.
And I just want to talk about that today. And that just means basically being bold. But I want to know how you came up with the concept.
So just to take a step back, so She Said is a movement that is really about empowering women, both in entrepreneurial ventures and then also in corporate America. I think for many of us, we find ourselves in situations where we are on the fence about making decisions. We have to phone a friend before we decide to take a leap. And we don't always have access to the resources that we should have access to and a seat at the table. So for me, this movement of She Said and being audacious is really about giving ourselves permission to make decisions without needing to consult with 15 people to do what you knew you wanted to do or needed to do anyway. So we had our third annual conference in October. And when I started thinking about our title for this year, last year it was about don't think outside the box, throw it away. And when I thought about our topic for this year, well, for 2018, I thought, what message do I need to hear? And what message do women need to hear, no matter what capacity of life they're in, whether they're in corporate or out? And I started doing some research, and I'm a hoarder of knowledge. And so I started flipping through some old emails that I sent myself or files and just content. And I actually Googled the word audacious about 8 years ago. And I started taking screenshots of what that word meant. And I couldn't get away from it. And I thought, you know what? This is really not just a fancy fly word. This is really about, when you peel the layers back, it really is about taking bold and calculated risk and having the audacity to pick up the phone and call somebody that you don't even feel like you have a shot at getting, a meeting with, or sitting at a table across from a client that you want to do business with, and you have the audacity to say, sign here. And I think we just need to think about that. And we need to remind ourselves that we have the skill set. We have the business acumen. We have everything that we need. God has given you everything that you need to do what he has sent you here to do. So be audacious.
I love it. Because to me, being audacious is, like you're saying, being bold and being confident. A lot of times we have it all, but we don't believe in ourselves. We have what it takes, meaning you have the skill set, you have, the brilliance, you have the talent, whatever the skill may be for that particular task.
It's like that Moses syndrome where God told him, this is what I want you to do. And he said, well, I don't speak that well. Maybe you need my brother. He can do it. And he said, no, I called you to do this. And so God has called you to do something. You just have to have the audacity to do it.
You do. Yeah. So your conference in October, what did it entail?
So, a lot. We did this concept last year where we focused on highlighting women who are game changers in their industry. And so last year we did this really beautiful, and I keep saying last year, but in 2017 we did this really beautiful spread where we highlighted you and several other women.
It was so nice.
In the greater Houston area community, where we had an opportunity to tell their stories and to do this photo shoot that went viral. And so we brought it back again this past year in 2018, where we honored other women who were nominated from the greater Houston community who are just doing great things in their industry. So we kick off our conference every year with our photo shoot, where we bring these women together to connect with one another. And then we transitioned into our VIP reception. And we also hosted this year, for the first time, we hosted a mini conference at a high school for junior girls, which was great.
Pause.
And then, yes.
I want to say one thing, pause. I want to go back to the photo shoot.
Yes.
The photo shoot is bigger than a photo shoot. I had an opportunity to experience it for myself. And I say it's bigger than a photo shoot because, you either nominate yourself or someone nominates you as a game changer or someone that stands out. And I think it was about 50 women. And it's just amazing to see 50 other women just as brilliant as you are, just as resourceful as you are, out there going to get it.
Yeah.
And you would not believe, I think I picked up like 10 friends from that.
That is fantastic.
I'm serious.
I love that. That's
I'm serious.
What this is about, really.
And that's what I said. It was bigger than a photo shoot.
Yeah.
LaMonica Love.
Kyra.
Kyra, me and Kyra been before that.
I'm just thinking of faces.
Joy.
Yeah.
But people,
Fern Dawkins.
literally, Fern Dawkins. I knew of her, but we became closer after that.
Yeah.
So, that's the deal. Some faces you see, but being in that room, being in that circle, allowed y'all to really connect and go deeper.
Yeah.
Than the hellos, how you doing?
Yeah.
So shout out to you for doing that, because
Thank you.
It's way bigger than a photo shoot.
Yeah. Yeah. So I will tell you, one of the things that I try to preach is that we're not competitors, we're compadres. Because if you shift your mindset about how you see other women, then it starts to tear down some of the walls that we don't even know exist, or we don't know that that's what's keeping us from making that real authentic connection. And so you're right, it is much more than just a photo shoot. It really is an opportunity to bring brilliance in one space together, to just love on each other, to get to know each other. And one of the things that we've heard every year from our conference is women walk away with strategic partners. They walk away with contracts and new clients. And it is something that just expands them beyond where they currently are. And so it's one thing to just host an event and people get all dolled up and look real cute and you walk away with a Rolodex of nothing. Or going into a room and being uncomfortable, which is what I'm really about, making people feel really and truly uncomfortable with, wait a minute, what am I doing? Or, maybe I need to go and talk to this person. So we try to create spaces like that. So thank you for saying that. So we did for the first time, we did a middle school conference, which was really phenomenal. We brought women in to talk to these young girls about how to be a CEO, that they can take the skill sets that they currently have and transition them into something that can make them money. And, not necessarily discouraging them from going to college, because many of us who are entrepreneurs did take that corporate route, or we did go to college, and then we found that there was something else we wanted to do. And then our actual conference this year, we had 24 breakout sessions. We had about 30 amazing speakers that came out to facilitate workshops, from the person that handles the agency for all Chick-fil-A stores to the manager and president of Radio 1 Houston. I mean, we just had some really powerful women that we don't always have access to be able to come out and talk to us about, listen, this is what I want you to do to consider how you can step outside of that little box or the community where you are and launch and leap. So it was really beautiful. It also was a great opportunity for the mayor and for his dais, if you will, or the members of city council to see that the women in Houston are really making moves. And so he came out and presented us with a proclamation and, put his support behind us. So it was really, really great. I always get at the end of the conference, when I'm near sleepwalking, women that will come up and say, okay, we just had a meeting and we decided that next year we need a 2 or 3 day conference. So it's always cool to have those women that come and congregate. We have to literally kick them out and say, this was so amazing. We made some great connections. Let's see how we can help you, support you to make this bigger and better next year. So that's been great.
Good. Yeah. So what's to come 2019 with this conference? Because I need the date now, because I got to put it on my calendar, because I missed it last year because I had to go to DC. Yes. So it's like, give me the dates right now so I can put it on the schedule as soon as you get the dates or whenever.
Yes. So we are, and for those who don't know, October is National Women's Small Business Month, and which is why we focus October. But we have already secured our title sponsor and our venue for this year. We're just working out the details to finalize the date. So we're looking at the first or the second week of October. Okay. But once we get our date finalized, trust me, we are going to blast it out. But we're going bigger. And bigger doesn't necessarily mean we need 1 million people in the room. One of the things that we do appreciate is that it really is an intimate group. But it's time to scale and give women what they deserve. So we're going bigger and better.
So you said you started this movement because of, the lack thereof, right? Mm-hmm. But what in you made you want to do something like this? A lot of us see a lack of, but what made you say, no, I'm going to try to find a solution to this problem?
Thank you for asking me that question. So this all started out with women asking for me to be their business coach and mentor. And I just knew I didn't have the bandwidth to do that for 30 women. But I feel like it's disrespectful for someone to ask you for help and you do nothing. And so I thought, okay, God, what can I do? How can I serve these women? How can I give back so that I can show them that I appreciate their nakedness and their authenticity of saying I need help, and connect them to the resources that I have access to. And so what I decided to do was I was going to host a dinner and maybe invite 20 women. And after doing some research, I figured out that it was October was National Women's Small Business Month. Congress had just designated it. And I thought, okay, well, I will approach some folks and see if they're interested. So I have to give a shout out to a few people. Keisha from Keisha's Creation, which I know
I love
you've
Keisha.
worked with before.
Yes.
I called her and I said, hey, I got this thing I want to do. I want to talk to you about it. And she came over and she was like, I think it's bigger than that. And I said, I think you're crazy. And she said, I think we need to go for 60. I don't have a budget to do 60 women. She was like, listen, just don't worry about it. So in less than 2 weeks, we were able to raise over $35,000 of products, goods, and services to host our first dinner. We invited some amazing women to come to be on our panel. And we gave away airline tickets and Apple Watches and iPads and QuickBooks. And it really was to create an Oprah-like experience, because we definitely are in need of additional resources and support, but not all of us know where to go, where to start. And some of us, to be honest, have been taken advantage of. And I didn't want people to feel preyed on. I didn't want to come and bring them into a room and then try to sell them something. I really just wanted them to be there to absorb the knowledge, to be celebrated, and to leave feeling a little bit uncomfortable. And we were able to do that. And so this movement started there, and it has continued. And it's in this past couple of years, we've probably served over 800 women who've been able to come in and get education and connected to resources and to be able to grow and scale their business. So it's been a blessing to do that.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to all of the me's that, come together like you, with your Fearless Women's Movement coming together to provide resources and access to women.
Definitely, because I know that resources are the key. Resources are the key, and they're out there. Sometimes we don't know where to find them. We don't know how to get them. And once you have those resources, then now you have to apply.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we'll use the excuse that, I didn't know, I wasn't aware. But now, you're aware. And what you're going to do with the knowledge that you have. So not only give them the resources, the accountability.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the deal, because, a lot of times we have these events. And I remember you saying this at your event, and it resonated so deep with me. What are we going to do after this event?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't stop here. And I love how you had seminars afterwards every 2 to 3 months to keep the ball rolling, because we're on fire for that day, for that moment. But how do we keep that fire lit?
Yeah. Keep
it burning. So for me, not only do I want to give you the resources, I want to hold you accountable. And then we want to, check it.
Yeah.
Check, is it working? Let's check the process and the systems that are put in place. Because if it's not working, we don't want you to be discouraged to try something different. Because it's not failure, it's just a learning curve.
Yep.
And letting everybody know it's not easy.
Yeah.
So I think more than anything, people need that community who have like-minded people who understand. I've been through that. I've done that before. They need that. So just creating that resource, that accountability, and that community.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
So let's talk about you, yourself.
Yes.
What gets you excited?
Ooh.
Just on a creative side, on a relaxation side, just, get out of work, get out of community, and just talk about LaToshia.
Yeah. What gets me excited? Doing something that creates a legacy that my mother will be proud of. I think I had a moment of clarity at her funeral. And I'm not going to go dark, but I was sitting there, and we had selected a couple people to speak at her funeral. And both of the speakers who got up just spoke about this woman who I knew, and I just felt so blessed to call her mom. But one of the ladies talked about how my mother led her to Christ, and how she was persistent, and how her persistence helped to not only save her, but her family. And because of that, different ministries developed. And by no means am I a missionary, and I'm not trying to be a pastor. That's not my ministry. And I was sitting there thinking, gosh, what is going to be my legacy? What are people going to get a chance to say about me that lives beyond my years? And so in every decision that I make, I'm always thinking about, what does this mean? Is this something that, I would be proud of, that my mother would be proud of, that my daughter would be proud of, that my husband would be proud of? And is this an example that I would be proud to say, do this, not that? And it checks me, it humbles me often. And it also saves me a lot of times from making some really dumb decisions. But I won't say that I don't make bad decisions, because I do. But I feel like failure is the new success, right? If you look at a situation where you're afraid to do it because you don't know what the outcome is going to be, it's going to keep you prisoner to things that, you know, that maybe you really wanted to do, but you just didn't have the courage or the audacity to do. And so, you know, my mother would give me this advice all the time. She would say, eat the fruit and spit out the seeds, which is going to be the title of a book that I'm working on for her, in honor of her. But it taught me, you know, in situations, look at it to say, okay, maybe it didn't go the way that I wanted to, but what can I learn from this experience? How can I, you know, grow from this? What can I share with someone else? But you have to be careful with the seeds that you spit out, because if you water those seeds, they grow, right? And they develop in so many different ways. And so in every situation, you have to take a look at it to say, okay, maybe this didn't go the way that I wanted it to, but can I use this to help me in another situation? And I got to be careful not to water those things, because if I don't want to see them again, if I water them, they're going to keep growing, and they'll multiply. So I got to be mindful of what I'm doing. So what motivates me, to go back to your original question, is doing something that is, you know, important enough that if somebody wrote about it, I wouldn't want to go and hide up under a table. So whether it's in business, or the way that I raise my daughter, or the way that I love my husband, or the education that I pursue, I'm always thinking like 5-10 years, like, am I going to be proud of this when I look back at it? And it could be playing volleyball. It could be winning a cards game in spades. Like I'm always looking like, you know, I want to be able to say, you know, I did that. That was good.
So you play a lot of spades?
I play a lot of everything, but I don't want to lose your friendship on spades. So if you play spades,
I'm here for it.
NaKeitha, don't do it.
I'm here for it. I love trash talkers.
Y'all hear this?
I love
the
trash
challenge
talkers.
is going to happen.
It has to.
Yes.
Let me know when.
I cannot
where.
wait.
I'm so serious. I'm so serious.
I am serious
That's
too.
what I love. I love some good fun. Okay.
Yes.
But that competitive nature, that's what comes out in spades.
Yes, it does.
No, that's what really, really comes out.
Yes.
People literally be like, okay, I can't play with y'all. Y'all too serious.
No.
No, we're going to love you afterwards. It's going to be okay. But
yes.
It's real business here.
Yes. I can't
wait. What kind of books do you read? Because you're writing a book.
Yeah.
What do you read? What's a good read for somebody just starting out, want to be inspired? What's that book that you keep referring back to? Because we all read books, right?
Yeah.
But it's those 2 or 3 or 4 that it's like, I need to reread that one again.
Yeah. So 2 books right now. And actually our book of the month for She Said in January is called The Secret.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've ever read that book before.
I haven't, but I've heard of it.
I heard about it years ago, but I never picked it up. And whenever I have an opportunity to talk to someone that maybe I wouldn't always have access to, I don't want to ask them goofy questions. Like, I want it to be meaningful. If I have 5 minutes with Oprah, I don't want to say, how you doing? I don't want to take any pictures with you. I want to know, you know, what inspires you, what motivates you? How do you move beyond the no? How do you get yourself out of those moments of desperation and despair? So I ended up talking to someone in a very high level position, and I started asking questions, and I said, what book, if there was one book you'd recommend that I read, what would it be? And he said The Secret. And I thought, okay. And I was traveling a couple months ago and was talking to someone and actually saw that book on their shelf and said, you know what, somebody else recommended that book. And they said this was probably the top 1 or 2 in reads of books that I've ever read, and bought a copy for me. And so I've been reading the book, and it talks about your mindset and connectivity and how important those things are, and how you can manifest things in your life just based on your thought process and the frequencies that you put out. And so that definitely is a great read. The other book that I would say is Still Like an Artist. It's a really short read, but it really is intended to help you be creative, to, you know, not be ashamed to see something that you like and improve upon the concept. And it really just gives you permission. So those are the 2 reads that I would say, you know, depending on what flavor you're looking for or what motivation you want to engage with, those would be 2 great books that I would recommend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you talked about failure is a new flavor.
New success.
New success,
yes.
Right? Failure is a new success. What are some of the challenges that help prepare you for success? Some of your biggest challenges, or
Man.
challenges 2018. One of your challenges in 2018.
So 2018 was a pivotal year. I had my daughter in 2017. And, you know, for you entrepreneurs, we know that there is no such thing as maternity leave, right? You know, we don't have those benefits. And so, you know, depending on how you scale your business and how you structure it, you know, if you are a one-woman band, you know, you are the person that is thriving and making this thing move. And so for me, one of the biggest accomplishments for me was rebounding after taking some time off to, you know, to really be at home with my daughter and to really connect with her, and then transitioning back into the workspace. It was, you know, it sounded real sexy. Oh, I have my own office. I can bring her with me. I don't have to worry about, you know, asking for permission. But one day my husband snuck up on me. My office has glass windows on one side so you can see in, and I didn't see him. I was feeding her on a call and typing at the same time. And I realized in that moment, listen, stop. It's time to put her in daycare and focus on the business. So for me, just balancing between being a mom, being a business owner, being a wife, starting graduate school, all the other initiatives that I had, going back and taking additional programming, being the vice president of an organization, and being Tasha. Yeah. So, you know, and I wouldn't even say that I still have it all figured out yet.
Right.
But I'm a whole lot closer and a whole lot further along than where I was. But it was definitely a learning curve, and it showed me a lot about myself and how to tap into that audaciousness that I needed to be able to just, you know, go back out and make sure that I was mentally, you know, prepared and make it happen. Yeah.
What are you afraid of?
I am afraid of, at the end of my time, standing before God and not being able to say I used everything that you gave me. You know, you talked about talents and gifts, and we talked about that a little bit before we started the show. But, you know, if you like to sing, if you like to write, whatever it is that you like to do, you know, do it. You know, one of the things that I did was I just snatched a sheet of paper out and I drew a line down the middle and I wrote likes and dislikes. And all the things on my likes, I promised myself I would do more of it. But the stuff on the dislikes, I had to have a real conversation with myself to say, why don't I like this? Do I need to get over it because it's not going anywhere? Can I change it and improve upon it? Or can I tweak something a little bit to make sure I like it a little bit more? So, you know, I think whatever it is, whatever God has given you, whatever those gifts are, figure out a way to use them. Because I don't want to say, well, I knew I could do this, but I didn't create the time or the space for it, or I didn't know how I could monetize it, or I didn't know how I could do more of it. I want to use everything he gave me. Everything.
You say everything.
Yep.
And I know for sure a legacy for your daughter.
Yes.
Leaving a legacy for your daughter. How has motherhood changed you? Before baby, after baby. So how was your life before you became a mom?
You know, I'm mad at myself because I feel like I had much more time to do things than what I really used. Like my husband and I would look and say, why didn't we go to happy hour more? Why didn't we just get up and just go somewhere for no reason? And so I realized before that I had much more time than I really utilized. And so now as a mom, my time is much more purposeful. So if I commit to do something in the evening, I really love you and I really, really needed to be there because I only have so much time to spend with her. So, you know, the evening and weekends are our family time. And so it really has recommitted me to making sure that I'm doing things with purpose and on purpose. And if I can't tie it back to, you know, some of the initiatives that are important to me or something that I've given my commitment to, then I'll politely pass. Or I'll figure out, I mean, it really just, it has grounded me on those things that really, really matter. And so family time and time to, you know, be with her and to help grow and develop her are really important. And so I would say that parenthood has really helped me to see from a different lens those things that I really need to invest my time in.
What do you do in the morning or each day just for you to give you a sense of peace, solitude, and prepare you for your workday?
You know what? I really wish I had something fly and fancy to say. I don't. You know, as often as I can, I try to listen to music, because music for me just sets a tone, and it helps to create this this fire, that, you know, that competitiveness that we talked about. So those types of things really help to ground me and set the tone for me. But I'm gonna work on it. What do you do?
To relax.
Yeah.
I mean, well, first of all, I definitely try to put the phone down for a minute,
Yeah.
because that is a big distraction. In the morning, I lay in the bed maybe like 30 minutes, just look at the ceiling. Like, I'm alert, I'm wide awake, I just be still. And then I'll pray, and I'll pray laying down, because I don't even want to move, because I feel like when I get out the bed,
Yeah.
I may get on my knees and do a prayer, but it'll be shorter.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the ground and I want to keep going.
Yeah.
But it's like something about that bed. It's like almost like my incubator.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds strange.
I like that.
But I'm like wide awake.
Mm-hmm.
Wide awake. And somebody may call me, and I may have been up for an hour. And they're like, you just waking up? But I'm groggy because I have been still. I have not been talking.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes just me and God talking. Just
I
being
like that.
still for that moment. Nothing fancy. Still in pajamas. Still may have on my bonnet.
Yeah.
You know? Or then I may grab my phone, read a Bible verse. Or I may listen to a podcast, because I need to constantly be motivated.
Mm-hmm.
In my car, I stopped listening to music, because I listen to music all day at work.
Mm-hmm.
So I started listening to podcasts, YouTube. I do a lot of that.
Yeah.
With emotion.
Yeah.
You know, emotion, because you're in traffic. So I just try to use the time that I have wisely,
Yeah.
when I'm still, just to just keep pouring into me.
Yeah.
Because I feel a lot of times when you're a natural born leader, you're constantly sowing seeds into other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need something important to you,
Yeah.
before you become empty.
What's your favorite podcast?
So I love my leak.
Okay. Yeah.
Miley Tilly.
Uh-huh.
I love her. I also love just T.D. Jakes.
Mm-hmm.
He always has a great word. And I listen to a lot of sermons from my church.
Oh,
My
good.
pastor, you know, I listened to a sermon that I heard. I listened to it over again. One of my favorite sermons was from a revival.
Mm-hmm.
Freddie Haynes from Dallas, Friendship West, he came. And I can't even remember what the title of this sermon was. But it was just talking about how God set things up. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
How God, it seems like a setback.
Mm-hmm.
Things you be like, why this happening to me? But God is setting something up.
Yeah.
And that sermon, I probably listened to it at least 4 times a year. I remember when I first heard the sermon, I bought 10 of them.
Wow.
I did. And I'm not even who even buys sermons anymore, right?
Yeah.
I literally bought 10 CDs, and I just started giving them away. I said, this will bless you for real. Like,
That is
if
awesome.
you never listen to a sermon after church, and so just things like that. And I know I have a strong spiritual background, because my grandmother that's been her life all the time, is church.
Mm-hmm.
She the one took us to church. She takes my son to church right now. She's the person who taught us our Bible verses and the books of the Bible. So I have a strong biblical background.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I don't want to be a missionary, but I know the power of God.
Absolutely.
I know what he can do. I know how he can provide. So that really fuels me. That really motivates me.
They need to figure out a way to get it online so we can go back and all listen to it. I was gonna say put the link in.
You know what? I'm gonna research.
Okay.
I'm gonna research. I'm gonna find
Yeah.
out how, because I'm sure it's online. It's some archive or something.
Yeah.
But it's a good one.
Okay.
It's a good one.
When you find it, share with me.
I will. I
Please.
will. But yeah, it's nothing fancy, but it's something about that me time. And what happens is my husband fusses at me, going back to this me time, because he goes to work before me. He leaves at 6:30, and I will still be laying in the bed. He was like, "Don't you need to get Jeremy ready for school?" But I know once I get him ready, it's over.
Yeah. The
You
day
need-
it started.
It started, and I'm not gonna go back to that stillness.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "You leave. Let me get my little time in, and then I'll get him ready."
Yeah.
So yeah, that just being still, because I know once I hit that ground, I hit the ground running.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna try that tomorrow morning.
Yeah, just
So
lay in the
will
bed.
leave me alone if I'm just laying there. I'm trying to get my me time. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get it together.
Because we give so much of ourselves, though.
Yeah.
Trying to be a good wife.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want your marriage to work. You got to give them some attention, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then trying to be a great mom. But trying to be a real, for real boss, CEO. And not just the title,
Yeah.
but the profitability. Making sure we have these systems and processes in place. So we always own.
Mm-hmm. So I will tell you, our within the newsletter that we are sending out with She Said, I try to just add some personal connection to what is happening to me and what I want to share. And so the title for the blog that is going to be sent out is "Put Your Safety Mask On First." And I think, and I won't give you all the details of it, but as mothers, wives, and business owners, with all the other hats that we wear, we don't take the time to put our safety mask on first. We are so focused on taking care of everybody else. And so I'm going to give some personal testament to that. But you're absolutely right. It is a balancing act, but you can't balance anything if you're on your back.
You can.
So you've got self-care is not selfish. You have to take the time to really focus on yourself and to be centered and to be your whole self so that you can support and help everybody else.
So true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I really, really look up to you, admire you, and the Fearless movement came from the Game Changer movement.
Oh,
yes.
To God be the glory. Thank you.
If you're going to copy the right cat.
Listen, you got to read that book, Still Like an Artist.
Okay. I will.
You'll like it.
I will.
Yeah.
NaKeitha Ross, until next time. Bye.